You're listening to the Get Unstuck podcast with business mentor, health and fitness influencer, and trainer Heather Newman. Each week, Heather provides you with tips and tools to glitter your soul and add sparkle to your life. Let's get unstuck. You are not a tree, so let's learn to move, change, and find true happiness by creating a vision and living your dreams. For blog posts, business tips, fitness training, at-home workouts, and more, subscribe to glitteru.com. Now, let's get happy. Here's your host, Heather Newman.
What is up, you guys? We are finally back. Oh my gosh, can you believe, we are at the end of January already. I don't even know what happened to this month. I know that I've been following my goals. I've been checking off the list, and I've been trying to get a lot of things organized out of my head and onto my paper in my Unleashed journal, which we talked about that last time. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. We are actually on module number 3 in this little mini series that is in our Daily Unleashed podcast series of 31 days to get unstuck. So you can take this and just take the pieces that resonate with you, the pieces that feel right for you. I'm not saying that everything that I do is the right way. I'm not saying that everything that I do is going to work for you, but I need you to understand, I come on here and I share from my heart the things that have worked for me. And these things, although I'm recording, this today, this is what is working for me today and I've been using for a long time, know that I am forever, always trying to make it better, to make my routine where I work smarter, not harder. And I try to reach certain goals that are still in alignment. There were things on my vision board way back in 2015 that I thought I really wanted. And when I pull that vision board back out, I'm like, I didn't really want that. If I really wanted that, I would have kept rolling it over to the next vision board if I didn't hit it for that year. You know what I mean? So today I told you, module 1, we talked about getting clear on what it is you actually want out of life. And because I am in health and fitness, most of the examples that I'm going to give you are going to be geared toward weight loss or fitness goals. Although everything that we're talking about can be implemented in relationships. It can be in your finances. It can be in your professional goals. It can be in, your house, your family. It can be put the same foundation of what we're talking about can be implemented in any area of life. Okay, so just keep an open mind with that. But I'm pretty sure if you and I hang out, you are trying to make your life something that is fitness related with a fitness vibe that we can sustain until we're 105 years old, right? That's where my switch went in my head, and my aha moment was just, I don't work out for the way it looks anymore. I work out so that my body performs. I fuel my body with the food that I eat, not so I look a certain way, but it's more about how I feel, because food is the fuel for our body, just like you treat your body with whatever kind of car you want it to be. So for me, I'm going to treat my vehicle as like a Lamborghini or a freaking G-Wagon, because that is what I want my body to feel like. I want it to function like something. It's the only body that we get. So we have to take care of the one that we have, and we have to stop relying on other people to fix us and medications, My husband and I had a conversation yesterday about medications and how some people's perception of a prescription drug is that it's good for you and that street drugs are bad for you, when in all actuality, drugs are drugs. It doesn't matter if the doctor prescribes a drug for you, it's still a drug, and there are precautions that you need to use and not become dependent on that drug. So it's all in perception, but these are facts. These are just facts, and it may be a little harsh for some people. So please don't take that the wrong way. If you have to take medication, I understand. There's certain people that have certain issues that medication is keeping them alive. I don't mean that. I mean for you know, I've got this problem, my gut, my this, my that, like fix me. You know what I mean? Like not even taking control of the food that you're consuming and realizing that food is our fuel, and food can be what fixes what is wrong with us. If you try the 7-day sugar detox and literally cleanse your body down to almost a clean slate, and then gradually introduce foods back into your system, you would be more mindful and aware of what foods are causing you to feel which way. And it takes a long time to get there, and you can't ever, like me as a coach, I can't make you be at that point. It's one of those things where you'll get there when you're ready, when you've had your aha moment, or something has made you maybe hit a wall, and finally you're like, I've had enough. I have got to figure this out, and I've got to take control over my health, because that's what it comes down to. It's about us taking full control and full responsibility of the life we're living and our health of our body. Nobody has more control over our body than we do, unless, of course, you're handicapped and you rely on other people to help you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that are blessed, that can move every single day of our lives. We need to be grateful for that. We need to work out for the people that can't work out. We need to go for a walk for the people who can't walk anymore. We need to realize how blessed we are that we are able. We're able to work out. Working out is not like a punishment for our body. Working out is something that we need to be really grateful for, that I am blessed and I can actually do this. And I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, so that I can still move when I'm 105 years old. I still want to be able to move around. I don't want to be, just stuck in a chair, not living life. I don't want that. I know that I want to keep moving my body and doing the best that I can to fuel it with the right things, so that my body still performs when I get older. So, all right. So we talked about module number 1 in this little mini series here. And it was about getting clear on what it is you want. Number 2 was about bubble journals and how to unleash and to brain dump and to get clarity. And I mentioned before, the journals that I created were founded by just my habits and me I needed that. I needed the visual. So I just went ahead and started making journals for my girls in my team. NOLA Fit is where we started, with Team NOLA Fit in 2017. And then that has transpired into my Tone Babes, which is our Tone and 10 online studio. And of course, I teach bar outside at the gym. So I've got some bar babes. And then HFit is Heather Newman Fitness. So with all of those ladies and people and humans and a wonderful team that I have surrounded myself with, I'm so grateful. I love you all if you're listening. Mwah! The Unleashed Journal was basically like, hey, look, if you're tired of printing this out, because I would put it in our monthly resource guide. You get a full 55-page monthly resource guide with every monthly challenge that we do in the Tone Online Studio. And sometimes that can wear out your printer and your ink. I know for me, I was like, oh my God, I'm using all of my son's colored printer. I don't have a colored printer. I have black and white. And I would print my pages 3 a day or something, trying to not use up all of his ink, but I had to stop. So anyway, I published the Unleashed Journal, and there are 4 per year. So if you start with the number 1, it's the Black Daily Unleashed Journal. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Barnes & Noble, or you can get it at unleashedjournals.com. These steps that we actually are talking about, the journals are very handy. That's all I'm saying. You can grab a notebook. You don't have to get these journals. I'm just saying the way that they were designed is exactly the way that I'm laying out this map, in case you decide that this system may work for you as well. And then you may find that you need to scratch through some things and tweak it your own way, but just let me be clear on what I define journaling as, because a lot of people automatically think that journaling means you know, that little diary that you may have had when you were younger, and it had a little key, and you would write like, I'm in love with Bobby, blah, 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 or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. My first kiss was so and so. I don't know. I didn't do that. I used to color in my journal. I used to draw. So journaling for me, okay, journaling is very different. It's very personal. It's very different for everyone, but it is forever changing. And it's not typical journaling like Dear Diary. For me, journaling, and especially in the Daily Unleashed journal, is about a brain dump, because I am one of those people that I have so much in my head at one time that things will just start to kind of spin, and I'll get a little bit anxiety. Okay, a lot bit. I'll get anxious. So I found that by grabbing my journal, and I needed a big journal. It couldn't just be like a little 5x7 journal. It had to be like 8.5x11. It had to be the size of a notebook. And I write big and bubbly, and that is how I brain dump. So for my brain dump, like if somebody found my journal, if my family read my journal, which I'm sure they have because I've got a million of them all over the house, but you probably wouldn't be able to make heads or tails out of it anyway, because when I say brain dump, I literally have a square in the Unleashed journal, and it is just made to dump your brain, to dump all the things out. I don't know if that's your to-do list. I don't know if that is like, hey, I got to do the choreography for bar class. I got to mail the taxes. I have to do an email for 1099s. I need to get the fence scheduled. I need to get a quote on the roof. I need to call the insurance company. I need to send an invoice to my, employer that I'm contracted with. I need to check on my babes. I need to get birthday cake ordered. I need to book this trip. Whatever those things are, those things will weigh you down, you guys. Like, they will start to make you feel like the weight of the world is just on your shoulders. And I mean, us as moms, that's on top of, keeping the laundry clean and folded and put away, and the dishes, and what's for dinner, and I'm still trying to eat healthy, and I gotta go to the grocery, and they're not gonna eat that, but I want to eat that, and what am I gonna get for them, and what am I gonna get for me? Like, it'll drive you crazy. Am I alone here? Am I alone? Like, this is literally how my head works. So my husband doesn't necessarily understand that, and maybe I should go into this little, I think I will do this little story for you right here today. Why not? No better time than the future. So I'll get back on track. I know I'm a squirrel, but I want to share this with you because it's so very important. This is about how a man's brain works very different than a female brain. And I didn't understand this. I didn't know this. And I explained it to my husband, and it made him see a little bit maybe more of what I'm going through, because he doesn't understand how I can get so much anxiety and so much like stress built up and put it all on myself. So I was listening to a very brilliant man. He is a psychologist, and he was trying to explain for both men and women the difference in the way that our brains are wired. You guys have heard of that book, like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, or something like that. And it basically does dive deep into that. It's a great book, by the way, if you want to try it. But here's simple terms, okay? So if you ever need to explain this to your husband, maybe this will help you too. If you can envision, let's see, do I want to explain the man? Yeah, I'm going to explain the man's brain first, okay? So let's envision your brain is like this long hall, okay? And it's got doors, right? So it's a long hall and it's got doors. All of the doors are closed, and you're walking down the hall. This is how a man thinks. He walks down the hall, and he opens up, let's say, door number 1. And that is the work door. That is where he goes to work. He goes in the room, he shuts the door behind him, and he thinks about work. Nothing else. Nothing else comes in the room. When he's done with work, he will come out of the workroom, shut the door behind him, go down the hall, and maybe go into the dinner room. He will shut the door, go into the dinner room, focus on his dinner, and think about nothing else. Then when he's done with dinner, he'll come out of the dinner room, shut the door, go back into the hall, and then he might go into his football TV room. He'll go in there, same thing, focus on the TV and think about absolutely nothing else. I know women and my friends that can sit there and watch TV for hours and not even tell you what happened on the television because their brain was in a million different places. Guys don't do that. Guys literally watch what they're watching and they're not thinking about anything else. Then when they're done with that, they'll come out of that room, go in the hall, shut the door, of course, because it's only one room at a time. Are you catching on? So the other room that they have, it's the do nothing room. And they literally can go into the do nothing room and sit there and shut the door and think about absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Just chill. Like, what a cool room. Okay, so when they're done with the nothing room, they'll shut the door, go in the hall. Maybe they'll go in the cut the grass room. You get the picture, okay? So a guy's brain works very focused, very one task at a time, very whatever I'm doing, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm not eating while I'm doing whatever else. I'm just doing this, okay? That's how their brain works. Now, here's a woman's brain. A woman has a brain that looks like a long hall, bunch of doors. She goes into the first door. She leaves it open. She starts washing clothes. Then she remembers that she had something on the stove. So she leaves the laundry room, comes out, leaves the door open, opens up the kitchen room, goes into the kitchen, leaves that door open. Then she remembers that she was doing something in her office. She'll come in the hall, go into the office, leave that door open, and then remember that she had to go take care of the kids, come back in the hall, go into the kid room, take care of the kids, come back, go back to the laundry room, back to the kitchen, back to the office, and then think of something else that she has to do. All the doors are open at one time. All the doors are just like running back and forth, one room to another, one area at a time. All the doors are open. But guess what? Her hall does not have a door to a do nothing room. Women don't have that door. Women don't know what it's like to go into a room and shut the door and do nothing and think of nothing else. Okay, does that help? Does that help you? If nothing else, it will help you understand when your husband or your boyfriend, remember when you were younger and you'd be like, why are you so quiet? Like, what are you thinking about? And they'd be like, nothing. And you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. You guys, really, they weren't thinking about anything. They were in their do nothing room. We just didn't know that they had that room because we don't have that room. So we didn't understand how they could be in that room. All right. Yeah, there's the story about the hall. I want you to comment below and I want you to send me a DM. I want you to tag me if you listened to the do nothing room story. Okay? I'm going to look for you. I want to know if you heard about the do nothing story because it's a great one and I think it'll help if you need it. Okay. So back on track, squirrel. Here we go. Number 3 is creating the visual map. I just created a huge visual map for you just to understand men versus women. But what we're going to do today is talk about, I was telling you how defining, journaling defined for me is more of a brain dump and just getting all of that chaos, all the rooms with the open doors, getting all of that out onto paper, dumping it out, and then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Then you're kind of like, oh, well, out of all this stuff, okay, the top 3 things are this, this, and this. So let me just focus on getting those 3 things done. And then the rest of the stuff I can get done whenever. And if I get it done today, then hey, that's lagniappe. That's bonus, right? I wanted to mention here too, I'm so excited. We're in January. Our February Tone and 10 monthly challenge is going to kick off on the 14th of February. I don't know when you're listening to this podcast, so the dates are going to be irrelevant if it's after this date, but it doesn't matter because we run a new challenge every single month, and it's basically just to keep you accountable. It's to keep you living a lifestyle of staying fit, something that you can actually sustain, right? So I gave you a little downtime where you can do your own workouts in between. So like we just ended our 21-day booty boot camp challenge, and we don't start our February challenge until February 14th. However, the girls in the Tone and 10 studio got a full resource guide, and it has a full workout calendar. So they can totally pick up like February 1st, which is tomorrow. Unless you're listening to this much later, don't worry about that date. You can do this at any time. Like just because the workout was for February 1st doesn't mean you have to do it on that day. If you joined in April and you decided you want to do the February challenge, you could totally go back and do that challenge on that date. That's up to you. But I have a workout for them planned for every single day of the month, and it's only 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes. Well, what happens is after you get used to doing your 10-minute workouts, you're kind of like, oh, wait, that so was not enough. I'm going to go do it again. And so the goal is to get to doing the 10-minute workouts 3 times. That way you've completed a full 30-minute workout or worked yourself up to that, and you're going to feel absolutely amazing. And it's something fun. It's something for you. It's something personal that we do together. Like you and I, we work out in a studio together, and that's how I want it to feel. I put on my little microphone, which is kind of like my little Britney Spears microphone. And yes, I don't play Britney Spears music. I can't because the platform I'm on won't let me use her music. But if I could, I would. But my microphone, that is what gives me the energy to keep like trying to make it fun and just show up. I don't know. You'll see. You'll see once you're in the studio with me. So, all right, let me get a sip of my Energize here. Hang on. I'm so sorry if that sounded disgusting. My mouth was so dry just now. I needed more unicorn juice. Okay, so I wanted to mention that the new Cougar edition, that's where I was going with this, the new Cougar edition of the Daily Unleash is going to be released any day now. I'm waiting on the publisher to give me the thumbs up, and it's going to be on Amazon, and it's so freaking cute. And I consider anyone a cougar that's over the age of 40. Sorry, I do. Because you're hot and you're, I don't know, you're just all the things. You're fit and you're watching your nutrition and you are just a cougar mama. So I just think it was cute. I really wanted to do the Pink Panther, but because of copyright, I couldn't do that. So anyway, all right. So that's a great addition to your additions if you want to start on a clean slate for February and grab yourself a new journal and just do brain dumping with me. I'm definitely going to have one as soon as I can get one, and I'll share it with you. So in there, same as all the other journals, it has 3 things to be grateful for at the very top, and then the workout time that you're going to commit to each day. That's for you because you want to commit to yourself. The only person that can break a promise with yourself is you. And then also the brain dump square, which is a big square for you to just brain dump, do whatever you got to do, get it out of your head, and again, to create that visual map. Now, this module number 3 is about creating the visual map, and the way that I explain the visual map is that in order for you to get anywhere you want to go, and again, this doesn't have to be with health and fitness, but I use health and fitness as an example all the time because obviously that's the industry that I'm in, and that's what I focus on every day to help people with. But you can use it in your finances, you can use it in all the other areas of life that we talked about, but you've got to know where you're going. So like you would never go on vacation, well maybe you would, but I've said this before. Most of the time, we need to know where we're going and how we get there. Like, how do I get there? Do I have to go rent the car first? Do I take this road? Do I take this highway? Am I taking an airplane? Like, you've got to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. So you've got to have the visual of where you want to be. Where are your desires? Just like we talked about in Module 1, Module 2, what are your dream goals? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? This is where we chunk those down. So to create that visual map, we have kind of a visual now, right? Like we've put everything into the Unleashed journal. You may or may not have used the bubble system where we just kind of clarify and put every goal into a bubble. And then what we're going to do now is chunk our bubbles into bite-sized pieces or into baby bubbles. And I just want you to focus on one bubble goal at a time. Because if you're anything like me and you get anxious, you want to do, like you want to dive in 120% and then you burn yourself out and you're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know if I'm coming or going. I don't know what I'm supposed to be focusing on. And that's when you shut down. And that's when you can slip into your old comfortable style of living, and then you won't make changes that are going to be sustainable. So all we want to do, super simple, is chunk down your goals into little baby bubbles and focus on one bubble at a time. Example, if your bubble is to lose weight and you've already dissected that down to, I want to lose 1 pound per week. Okay, well, what are the steps that I need to put in place to lose 1 pound per week? Well, one of the things, and again, you just keep going, how am I going to do that? And how am I going to do that? And how am I going to do that? Like keep asking yourself how and why, until you get to the core root of it. And then it could be emotional for some of you too. So don't think that this is just going to come to you like, oh, it does take some time and some energy. That's why we brain dump every day. Get it out of your head. But one of the examples or one of the samples, the skinny secrets that you could use if your goal was to lose 1 pound per week for this month. I'm going to share it with you here. It is in our Tone and 10 member portal in our most recent resource guide, and you can call it a couple of things. I'm just going to say it's the 10-minute half box skinny secret rule. Let's say rules. There are 2 rules, and if you get nothing else out of this, I want you to remember these 2 skinny secret rules: the 10-minute rule and the half box rule. The 10-minute rule is for people who have impulse eating, who tend to snack a lot, who tend to go to the pantry and look in the pantry and not know why they're in the pantry, and they're debating what to eat, what to shove in their pie hole, and they're not even really hungry, or they're not sure if they're hungry, or they're so hungry that they're like, I don't care, I just need something to make this feeling go away. If that's you, I want you to consider the 10-minute skinny secret. And all that means is set your timer for 10 minutes. Don't eat anything for 10 minutes. Go do something else. Go write in your journal. Go do a brain dump. Go do some laundry. Go do the dishes. Go call somebody you need to call. Go follow up on an email. Set a timer for 10 minutes and see if that impulse craving goes away. I bet you it will. Now, if you're super hungry and your stomach's like, no, I'm starving, then let's be conscious instead of just being impulsive, right? Like, let's be conscious about what we choose to fuel our Lamborghini with, right? Because we're not driving a clunker. We're driving a Lamborghini or a Lexus. So we want to make sure we put in the premium fuel. Okay, so the 10-minute rule on there. And then if you are someone who likes to go out to eat often, or if you find yourself eating out to eat because of the environment that you're in with your family, maybe they like to do that, maybe the job that you have, maybe you travel a lot, is the half box skinny secret. Every time we go out to eat, the serving sizes, unless you're at a really fine dining restaurant, if you're just at like your family Chili's or, you know, whatever these restaurants are, I don't go out to eat a lot anymore. But let's just say you're at Macaroni Grill, or you're at Cheesecake Factory, or you're at Chimes, or you're at Five Guys, or any of these restaurants, right? Or like I said, a Chili's, something like that. I want you to order your dinner, whatever it is you feel like eating. Being mindful of what you're ordering, of course. And then when the waiter comes with your food, I want you to just say, hey, would you mind bringing me a to-go box, please? And they're going to look at you kind of like, oh, I would have packed it to go, probably. But all you're going to do is half box it. You're going to half your meal, put half in the to-go box, set it aside, and enjoy half of your meal. Enjoy every little bite, savor the flavor, drink plenty of water, enjoy your time at the restaurant, and you have cut your calories completely in half, but yet enjoyed the food that you wanted to enjoy. So an example is, I always thought I was doing really good at Texas Roadhouse by getting, some kind of grilled chicken and something else. And I looked at the calories and it was 1,825 calories. Okay, yeah, that's more than my daily allotment. Typically, I don't count calories per se, but I know that that's too many calories for my body unless I am running a marathon. So I know that like cutting that in half, let's just say it's 1,800, that cut it in half, that would bring me to 900 calories if I ate half of that meal. So that's just an example. That is just something, again, I hope will help you. We are at 30 minutes already and 38 seconds for this podcast. I cannot thank you enough for staying and hanging around. I hope that I shared some really, really valuable things for you today. Again, tag me if you heard the do nothing room, and let me know if you like the 10-minute rule and the half box rule. And that's it for module number 3. It's just about creating the visual map and chunking your goals down into bite-sized pieces so that you can actually focus on something and actually see that come to light, right? All right, you guys, it was so much fun. I will talk to you next time and we'll wrap this little mini series up. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey friend, thank you so much for listening to Heather's Get Unstuck podcast. Her goal is to help as many women as possible, and if this episode helped you in any way, you can directly impact Heather's efforts by simply sharing a screenshot of this to your social media or team. Also, if you're looking for additional support, feel free to find Heather on Instagram at GlitterU, her website at www.glitteru.com, and or join the free Get Unstuck community Facebook group. You're listening to the Get Unstuck podcast with business mentor, health and fitness influencer, and trainer Heather Newman. Each week, Heather provides you with tips and tools to glitter your soul and add sparkle to your life. Let's get unstuck. You are not a tree, so let's learn to move, change, and find true happiness by creating a vision and living your dreams. For blog posts, business tips, fitness training, at-home workouts, and more, subscribe to glitteru.com. Now, let's get happy. Here's your host, Heather Newman.
What is up, you guys? We are finally back. Oh my gosh, can you believe, we are at the end of January already. I don't even know what happened to this month. I know that I've been following my goals. I've been checking off the list, and I've been trying to get a lot of things organized out of my head and onto my paper in my Unleashed journal, which we talked about that last time. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. We are actually on module number 3 in this little